Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, today I have John Frost on the line, and he is Vice President of Enrollment Management and Marketing over at Doane University. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, good afternoon. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day.
All right, man. So I've been looking forward to this. I definitely want to get into what you're doing over at Doane University and really how you're helping students become purpose-driven leaders. But before we do that, I'd like to start this episode the way that we start them all with what we like to call our Mission Matters Minute. So, John, at Mission Matters, our aim and our goal is to amplify stories for entrepreneurs, for executives, for experts. That's our mission. John, what mission matters to you?
Mission matters to me. It all starts with transformation. That's what we do here at Doane University, and that's what I believe. And the great work that I get to do every day is that I get the opportunity to support folks to transform their destiny, to transform what they want to accomplish. And being part of that dream is a fantastic opportunity. And that's what we do on the college campus. We transfer curious young people and also adults who are thinking about transitioning or making changes in their life, and we provide that opportunity to make that great transformation to their career and to their goals and their dreams. And so that's what mission matters to me, is standing on and believing in transformation.
It's awesome. Love bringing mission-based individuals on here to share, how they do what they do, what they're doing, and really how we can all learn from that, so we all grow together. So great to have you on. Let's get into you. Your journey. So education, higher education, how did all that begin for you?
Yes. So I didn't go to college to work at a college. Like, that wasn't the game plan. I didn't even know this was even an opportunity. But just like many people, I went to college. I was fortunate enough to figure out that I wanted to study broadcasting. So I went into broadcasting, and I did that for about 4 years. And one of the great things about working in local news and broadcasting is that you get to do all these cool stories and meet unique people and things like that. But the unique thing about when I transitioned to higher education, which the thing that I was excited about was I still get to work with people. But the unique thing about working in higher education is when I was in news, I only could report about the story. Hey, this is what happened. This is how it happened. And this is how you can learn more. But in higher education, just like I mentioned before, I get to help to create their educational story and make a difference in their life. So that's what happened. Once I moved into higher ed, started as a recruiter, and then have worked in community colleges, private colleges within the Midwest. And I love what I get to do. And I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to be the Vice President of Enrollment Management and Marketing.
Yeah. What do you like most about, like, now that you're you kind of see your path? I like to think of it as sometimes we're looking at different careers. We're looking at, like you mentioned, you were in broadcasting prior. I was in finance prior. As I got into this part of making content, of helping people get their stories out, like, one of my favorite things, I get to talk to many different types of individuals and help them get their message out there. I'm curious for now that you've been in education for a bit, like, how that's worked out for you in terms of what you like the most out of the education side of things.
Yes, what I love about the education, I take it back to when I first started as a recruiter. And I'll start with a nice brief story. I was working with a mom of two. And she had came in and met with me, and she was curious about going back to school. And so we went through the whole process of talking about it and trying to understand her dreams and her goals and things of that nature. But then at the end, towards the conversation, she started getting a little teary-eyed, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, what did I do? Like, did I mess up
What did
something?
you do, John?
Yeah, like, did I mess up something? Did something go wrong?" And then she looked up at me, and she paused, and she said, "You're the first person ever told me I can do this." And that's what made me realize, oh, I'm in the right place now, right?
Yeah.
And that's what has propelled me throughout my career. It's not necessarily always getting that type of emotional response, but also understanding that it's a privilege and an opportunity to impact people that way. And so that's what I've learned with education. Education, still in our society, is one of the few things that can change people's lives if they invest in it. And
Yeah.
that's what I get to do every day. And that's what has propelled me in my career. And that's what I love about education.
Hmm. Let's talk a little bit about Doane University. Let's jump into that side of things. Tell us more about the university and any specialties, niches. Like, give us the lay of the land.
Yes. So we are a liberal arts college in Crete, Nebraska. We've been around for 150 years.
Hmm.
We are a university that, as long as we've been here, we've been doing things differently. We've been doing things that other people haven't done. We was one of the few colleges that was, had some of the first women to come to college here in the
Wow.
Midwest, right? We had the first African American to come to Doane University
Hmm.
many years ago, right? And that's at the beginning stages. So we're talking about the 1800s, where you
Yeah.
did not see a lot of women or minorities going to college, but they always
Hmm.
provided that opportunity. One of the things that Doane University is really big on, of course, we have great programs, we have plenty of opportunities, but the thing that I want to make sure that sticks out is that we are literally doing what kings and queens and politicians promised to do. They
Hmm.
promise to change the world. We actually are changing the world through innovation, through our programs. We have a nice student to teacher ratio of 14 to 1. So you're
Hmm.
not just going to be another number. Also, I always say the good news about that is that we know when you're in class and we know when you're not in class. So I always say that's a great benefit. But then also we have many pathways for a student that's just graduating from high school, also for students that are looking to get back to school. But then also,
Hmm.
if you're currently at a university and you just need some additional courses, we have
Yeah.
some opportunities for those students as well.
Hmm. How is Doane fostering this concept of entrepreneurial thinking and personal growth? Like, what's Doane's take on that?
Fantastic. One of the ways, so our motto, at least for our president, is that we build leaders, right? We build leaders. We challenge people to think differently. We
Hmm.
challenge people to look outside of the box. Let's not be comfortable staying inside of the box. How are
Hmm.
we doing that? I went to several different classes, and it's not like a typical class where you have a professor or a faculty member standing up front just lecturing to people and hope that they just retain the information, then you're going to
Yeah.
test them later that week. It's
Hmm.
about engagement. And I think that's what we're doing a great job of. And I think that's what we're trying to get back to is
Hmm.
making sure, especially with a liberal arts education, making sure that the students that we serve understand how to engage with each other, have
Hmm.
discussions, have critical conversations. It's okay to be challenged. It's okay to disagree, but you don't have
Hmm.
to get so emotional that you lose logic. And so
Yeah.
at Doane University, we do a great job of being able to challenge each other, but also being able to work together to come to a common goal. And that's some of the things that I'm really excited about. And those are the things that are really different than other schools, is that we're
Hmm.
not just doing the typical thing, we're doing the things that's necessary to move our society forward.
Yeah. What does it take to help a student like uncover their purpose? Like I'm always curious about like those earlier years and somebody looking into their purpose. Like what does that take?
That's really good. One of the things that we've seen, especially when you're talking about students that are leaving high school,
Mm.
they're leaving their hometown, they're leaving everything that they ever known.
Yeah.
Sometimes they think that's just the way the world is.
Hmm.
That's it. And what we try to do is to unpack that a little bit, right?
Hmm.
From the admissions process of one of the things that we say from the admissions process is we don't want to be order takers, we want to be dream makers.
Mm.
Meaning that if somebody says that they are interested in nursing, right? We're not just going to
Mhm.
say, hey, here's the pathway to nursing. We're going
Yeah.
to ask a few questions, right? We're going to
Mhm.
ask you, hey, are you afraid of blood? You
That's
know,
a very relevant
that's a good
question.
question, right? And
Yeah.
then, do you mind standing on your feet for 12 to 15 hours? And
Yeah.
then also, and this may be a little graphic, but I won't go there too far.
Yeah.
But if somebody just got sick right now and maybe vomited, what would you do?
Yeah. I'd
Now,
run. I'd
yeah,
run. I'm sorry, John. I'd run. Any of the above. There was blood, I run. There's vomit, I run. There's sick. They coughed, I run. I should not be a nurse,
yes,
John.
yes.
But
And Adam,
bless
and
you,
look,
bless all the nurses out there. Thank
there
you
we
for all
go.
you do.
Yes, and Adam, and that's why we wouldn't say, here, you should be a nurse. The
Yeah.
question would be then, why do you want to be a nurse? And
Hmm.
9 times out of 10, you know what they're going to say, Adam?
To help
I want to
people.
help people.
Yeah.
Want to help people. But tell me why you want to help people. How
Mm.
does that look for you? What does that
Yeah.
mean to you? And once we can unpack that, and once we know that, now we can guide them through a pathway of the opportunities and the programs that we have
Mm.
to answer your question, to make them think a little different. Like, you just don't have to do everything that you think you know. Let's see
Mm.
what you're really good at. What do you
Mhm.
like to do in your free time? What moves you, right?
Yeah.
And then that's how we got to get students talking more or less
Mhm.
than we just answering the questions, because sometimes they don't know what questions to ask. So
Mm.
that's how we kind of get them to kind of think differently and to kind of provide us some insight for we can guide them towards the destination.
Hmm. Let's talk about what's going on overall. Like with so much change in technology, and just in education. Like talk to me a little bit about delivery. Is this all is it delivered all in person? Is there some virtual? Like give me a little bit of what it's like to be in this Doane experience.
Yes, so we have a variety of modalities. That's what we usually
Mhm.
call the classroom space. So
Mm.
obviously we have the in person with the small student to staff or student to faculty ratio.
Mhm.
At the same time, we have opportunities virtually for our
Mhm.
students online, and also not just for undergraduate programs, but also for our graduate programs
Mm.
and also for our Open Learning Academy. We
Mm.
also have hybrid programs. We have programs where you can do it at your own pace. That's why it's so important, just like with answering the previous question, to
Yeah.
understand what it is that they're looking for, and also what works for them to make sure
Mm.
that they can be there. Another piece that I would talk about in regards to technology is
Yeah.
obviously AI, right?
Yeah.
AI is a really big thing right now. And Doane University loves AI.
Mm.
Why do we love AI? Because it's something that we have to embrace. Just like 30, 40 years ago, when somebody said, hey, this thing called a computer that we may have to use,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, people didn't, people were scared of that. People were afraid of
Mhm.
the internet. They always felt like, well, you know, students are going to get all the answers to the test if they can just go on the internet.
Yep.
YouTube was something that scared people to some extent,
Mhm.
but we have always embraced those tools because we see those as tools and resources, because
Mm.
that's where our students are using and that's where they're at. So
Mhm.
speaking of AI, one of the things that's unique that's going on with Dome is that we're using AI in a lot of different formats in the
Mhm.
classroom space, in our operational space for our staff and faculty. We're using it to prompt discussion. We're using it to
Mm.
challenge ourselves. We're using it to say, hey, here's a plan. What are we missing? Right.
Mhm.
And we're also teaching students on how to use AI. It's not just a place where you can go and get an answer, it's a place
Yeah.
that can create curiosity.
Mhm. So being in your shoes, you've been in education a long time, you have a prominent position at Doane. Like what excites you right now about I just mean about the education industry in general. Like what excites you? What gets you fired up?
What gets me fired up is when I see the parents.
Hmm.
Is when I see the parents come in and they get emotional because they see their son or daughter get excited about their future.
Yeah.
Um, right now, we hear a lot of things about the future that may not be encouraging.
Hmm.
But what gets me fired up, what gets me excited, is seeing those parents still believe, because
Hmm.
sometimes they feel like the future that they wanted for their kids may not be possible,
Yeah.
but it is. And also, they want to make sure that their kids have some of the same experiences that they did. You have to realize a college campus is I hate to sound like a Disney movie, but it's a magical place, right?
Yeah.
It's a place where some people have met their spouse. It's people
Mhm.
that's going to be in your weddings. It's people that you're going to be connected with for the rest of your life. You met at a
Mhm.
college campus. Some of the things or perspectives that you have had or have was challenged on a college campus.
Mhm.
That's why I say it's a magical place. It's one of the few places in our society where you can have somebody that's from rural America, from a major city in America,
Yep.
and also somebody that's international, all get in a room and have a discussion about anything,
Yeah.
and it's okay,
Yeah.
right? So that's what gets me fired up, is that education is the place where we can still do that
Mm.
with not a lot of quote unquote regulations that preventing that natural curiosity as humans that we should
Mm.
have.
Mm. John, what kind of trends in education are you following? AI, we mentioned, is one of them. And any other trends, just things that you're following?
Yeah, no. Um, Obviously, we're always paying attention to enrollment, right?
Yeah.
We're always trying to see what are the interests in enrollment. I
Hmm.
also paying attention to the trends of the value. I mean, you have a lot of folks who say you don't need to go to college, you don't need
Mm-hmm.
to get a degree. Um, you have a lot of folks that believe that, well, I'm just going to be an influencer, right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna road trip across America and film it and give commentary, which is fantastic. That's
Yeah.
great. But at some point, you're going to need some benefits, though, right?
Hmm.
And so, to me, the trends that I'm paying attention to is what's interesting to the students. I have a
Hmm.
10 and 12-year-old son. To me, I always wonder, what are you interested in? How do they
Hmm.
learn? What are they talking about? So I'm always paying attention to what's coming up because we still have to be attractive to the future. We
Yeah.
still have to figure out ways to make sure that people understand the value of education. The other trends is how do employment? What
Hmm.
do employers want from employees? What are some of
Hmm.
those characteristics and skills? People used to call them soft skills. We like
Yeah.
to call them marketable skills, right? Like it's great that you can put something in a system or you can do a certain skill set, but how do you relate to other people? How do
Hmm.
you encourage other folks? So I can go on and on. There's a lot of trends that obviously we're paying attention to because
Hmm.
the workforce in the future is our product.
Hmm. Yeah, that I like that you bring that up, by the way. The end result is the workforce.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
the goal of going to college isn't to go to college. It's for what happens after college, but it's a pivotal point. At least it was a pivotal point in my life. I can say that from my college experience. It definitely shaped a lot of the different things that I'm doing now, and that I didn't even know until you go through it and then you look back. For me.
Absolutely. Same.
So, John, first off, it's been great having you on here, man, and to get into what's going on at Doane University and also your background in education. I just have to ask, what's next? I mean, what's next for you? What's next for Doane? Like what's next?
What's next for us is to keep spreading the good news about Doane University.
Mm.
And of course, we would love for folks to go follow us on our social media handles and also start the process at www.doane.edu.
Hmm.
What's next for me is to do this more, right?
Yeah.
Is to make sure that we are advocates, not necessarily just for Doane University, but for
Hmm.
higher education. And I
Hmm.
truly believe that that's one of the things that we have to make sure that we uphold our promises to the students that we serve, that we
Yeah.
would get them prepared for the future. And so I'm excited to continue that work. I'm
Hmm.
excited to anybody that sees this is to network, to build community and build those opportunities of collaboration for our future. So I'm excited and I thank you for allowing us to be on here today. And I look forward to having folks to reach out to us at Doane University or me personally.
And I feel like is there already one? I don't want to misspeak here. Is there a Doane University podcast? What's going on, man?
Hey,
You
not
better
yet.
get that
I
thing
mean,
going with your background. You were in media. You were what's going on? Is it already exist, or is it going to be exist and we're breaking that? Is it going to exist and we're breaking the news on the show now? What are we doing, John?
let's go, Adam. Let's break the news. Yeah, let's try to. I may need to work with you a little bit more to get this podcast thing up and running. But we do have students that have podcasts,
Yeah.
and they support Doane University. So please check them
Mm.
out. Just obviously go to YouTube or Twitter
Yeah.
and search Doane University to find out more. But yeah, we this is just the
Yeah.
beginning. This
I
this is
want to
just the
see, yeah,
beginning.
I want to see you interviewing previous students in their life and where they're at now, like a where they're at now kind of deal. And
Oh,
that's what I want to see. And I'll tell you where this came from. I do a lot of work with Texas FFA Foundation, and I go out and I do a bunch of interviews for them and whatnot. But what was interesting is the students, because it's one of the largest student organizations in the nation. I think the largest, actually, FFA as a whole. But I would be interviewing people that went through that program, and and they were now adults. Well, I shouldn't say they were now adults. They're all adults, right? But I mean, like, they're further along in their career. Some were like heads of banks, some were like heads of all these organizations, and I was always like, wow, this is amazing to see where they're at now, and they get to talk a bit about, in this case, what their time was with FFA and what it did to help them on their career path. So for you, I think you should be hosting a show and talking to some leaders that have come through the, I mean, 150-year-old university. You got people out there, man.
Yes.
Like tap in, start interviewing those CEOs, and that's gonna just that's the ticket. All right, there you go. I'm over here giving people work on the.
Hey, I appreciate that. Hey, no, I think that is awesome. Thank you for that free advice, Adam. I appreciate that. Now, don't send me a bill now. Don't send
I
me a bill.
didn't say that was free, man. No. Oh, it's been a lot of fun having you on, John. What one more time, how do people follow up? How do they connect? What was that website again? I want to make sure that people connect.
Yes, great. www.doane.edu is our webpage. And then also in all social media handles, please just go and search Doane University.
Yeah.
You can find all our social media handles. Please reach out. Let us know what you're thinking. We would love to work with you. If you want to learn more about our educational opportunities or anything, please reach out to us.
Awesome. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so you can just click on the links and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And John, man, appreciate all you do.
Thanks, Adam.